I'm going to stay sitting because I just need to, but to all of you at the back, hi. And, well, I've never done anything like this before, so I'll just dive in and we'll see how we go, yeah? I think I need to go back a bit and then work my way back to here, just so you get a bit of what's been going on. The year before I was diagnosed with cancer, my brother Adam passed away. And that created a lot of conundrums and just very difficult feelings about what was the purpose, what was the sense, what was love. Lots of, conundrums about life and what was the purpose of all of this if it just ends in this kind of, everything felt ruined, you know, it was just a ruin. And even my memories, which are and always had been really amazing childhood, but somehow after his death, everything was just shit, you know, it was just, it all led to this destruction of his life. So my whole perception was changed, which was, and with him dying, I felt it wasn't just him that had died, but a big part of me had gone with him. So I'd lost a big part of myself. So the year later, in 2009, this is, so it's quite some years now, when I found I had a lump in my breast and finally was pushed into going to the doctor, because it's not the sort of thing I'd like to do. I found I had cancer. It wasn't the biggest surprise in the world because I knew something was up anyway. But the funny thing was that actually having the cancer seemed to ignite a bit of interest in life again, which I had lost, my sort of interest, if you like, in life. And then having the cancer, it was like something, oh right, this is quite interesting. What's actually happening? What's happening to me now? And so yeah, it sparked off another, something grabbed my attention, and I was engaging again with life. I'd gone to the hospital, I'd been told by the doctors what they thought I should do, that I had metastasized cancer in the breast, in the lymph, that I should have full mastectomy, chemo, radio, hormone therapy. And as some of you might know, they go very fast. It's like they want to do all this to you next week, you know. And that just seemed like, whoa, hang on a minute, you know. I'm not sure I want to do, you know, I just need to, I don't want to make choices out of fear. And it felt like everything was driving in this kind of fear that, oh, panic now, suddenly next week you've got to. And it didn't take long for me to decide that I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. It felt like to sort of destroy myself to get well. It didn't make any sense. And I started to get into this sort of idea of the attitude is to kill for peace. And it became more than just my body, it became humanity's way of dealing with world situations. We think we can just kill for peace. You know, there's something going on there, let's wipe it out and see what's left. And I felt very protective of myself, and that actually I love myself. I didn't want to hurt or harm myself to get well. I wanted to nurture, nourish myself and, you know, go into this process, not try to run from it, but what is this that's actually happening to me? So, yeah, I didn't want to kill for peace. And it wasn't that I was also very protective of myself in the sense of what people would project onto me. I kept my sort of social and quite small because I wanted people just to see me as I am, not to see cancer and then whatever they think that means. which is often full of fear and different opinions of what you should do. And because I wasn't taking the conventional treatment, people had very strong opinions. And because I have a son as well, a lot of people thought I was being quite reckless. But really, for me, I thought this was my best chance. I was doing what I really believed was the best thing to do. And so I found my way with different ways, you know, and it wasn't that I wasn't up for treatment. I was up for so many treatments, just not that one. You know, I mean, I've actually done an awful lot of stuff, but stuff that would support and what I felt was good. So I started off with diet, different diet, and you know, the whole sort of juicing and supplements and all the things that you get led into. Then I met a lovely guy from Brazil who worked with a shamanic medicine, a frog medicine called Cambo, which comes from the Amazon, and it's a medicine for the heart, and it clears what they call panima, darkness, and opens the light of the heart. And I enjoyed this a lot. It's a really powerful medicine. It's actually a poison. But these shamanic medicines work in so many levels of the unseen. So I worked quite a lot of that with that. I was also very into Vipassana meditation that I did a lot of. Also, as Michael said, I'd done Michael's course before all this happened, and one of the things that really stuck with me was this, that whatever's going on, you always look for the health. So it's not so much about whatever you think the issue is, you find the health. And this sort of, well, what's health? You know, what is the health? And gradually throughout these years, you know, it's brought me deeper, 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 deeper into the core of what I feel I am, or what I think we all are, which is untouchable and is always there and is never ill. There is no sickness in the core of our being, you know, so gradually I came to really understand that. But the shamanic thing for a long time was a big part of what I was working with, and where I really found a lot of joy and celebration to be alive. And that was really the feeling that I was going with, was actually, you know, this kind of celebration of life, not this doom and gloom, or cancer, whatever. Actually, it was leading me into things I was really enjoying, and I was finding that I was almost in a heightened state a lot of the time because of this appreciation just to be alive. So I was actually having quite a good time. The frog medicine comes from the Amazon, these tree frogs, and the way that they found that was through the shamans taking ayahuasca, which is another plant medicine, visionary medicine. And I went with my mum to Peru to do some work with these Shipibo shamans in the Amazon. To work with the ayahuasca. I sort of had a feeling that maybe I'd get some really important instruction, or that I could kind of dissolve myself and recombobulate myself without the cancer. You know, I just wanted to go out to the Amazon, really. And it was wonderful to go with my mum. You know, she's 76, and she's been out there a couple of times before. So we went to this place where that was set up for people to come to do these series of ceremonies with the Shipibo, and take the ayahuasca every evening in the night time in the Amazon. And the jungle at night, it's like every sound you've ever experienced is there in some blip or guido. It's just incredible, more kind of sound at night than in the day even. And they do these ceremonies at night so that they can see the light of you. And you drink the ayahuasca, and actually what I found was that the healing, what I experienced, is they come and they sit in front of you and they sing into you. And the way they work with their plants, they spend maybe 3 months just taking this one plant until they become the vibration of that plant. And then with that comes a song. So when they want to give you medicine, they give you a song, and they sit and they sing into you. And it was the most beautiful experience, you know, really, really profound, to be sort of sung back into health. And these amazing people that are just giggling all the time, singing to us all, you know. It's the guy who set it up, he called it the A&E, the jungle A&E. So I was getting really moved and getting a lot of, just profoundly touched by also, you know, this goodness of humanity and this very simple way of helping health to share, to give it, to share it, for it to circulate. I also went to, these are just some of them, just trying to share some of the things I tried along the way while I was still moving about. And I went up to see this guy called Yeshe Dondon in the Himalayas, who used to be one of the Dalai Lama's physicians. He's now in his 80s, and he has a little clinic in McLeod Ganj and works with Tibetan medicine. He sees about 60 people a day. And he takes a little sample of your urine and whisks it up and then decides what little herbs you need. But he also works completely he doesn't charge. There's no fee to see him. And was deeply moved by him as well, these people that are giving their life in this service to do what they can. And it didn't seem so much about taking the medicine that he gave, but just about him and his dedication to support all these people. But the years are going by, I'm missing out huge chunks because, you know, this is a sort of 7 years has passed, yeah? But it got to the point that the cancers, and I don't know whether it was just happening anyway, or maybe I'd stopped using the Cambo so much, and I tried hemp oil. And during that time, the cancer seemed to spread really throughout my body until I'm coming up to the point of being where Michael sort of came in, where I was, firstly, couldn't really get out of my flat because my bones were literally breaking. And then till I couldn't get out of bed. And I had people come, you know, I had most amazing people around me coming to support me, coming to stay in the flat and help cope with this really quite dramatic situation. But somehow it still felt like quite a celebration of life, even though it was, you know, it was quite a serious situation I was in. You know, the people that came around, I didn't want anybody grieving around me. As long as I was alive and wanted to share a nice day or a nice moment, or, you know. So I wasn't having people crying around me, mourning me before I'm gone, you know. And but it got to the point where it was just, I had Peter Walker, Jeb, and I'd also met a lot of people that were praying for me. I'd been in a lot of praying circles and made connections with some amazing people. John Tyndall had been treating me with acupuncture, and there's a lovely group of people around him that were praying for me continuously. And I felt a lot of strength from that. But yeah, it got to the point where basically I called 999 because it just got too much, and the ambulance came, and then there starts the process of going into UCH, which I felt that to go into hospital would be the end of me. But I found going into hospital was also these incredible people with this incredible support. These nurses they are just the most amazing people I've ever come across, the work they're doing. And again, I was really deeply moved by feeling that actually everything in life is working for life, to live, is trying to give life. And even in hospital it's meant to be that, but I always thought it would be the opposite of that. But I was deeply moved by the nurses and the doctors. They were all very respectful of this probably slightly unusual situation of somebody coming in this state, having done chosen the route I'd chosen. And I was moved to Mary Curie, and it really feels, the nurses felt like they're sort of angels at the gateway. You know, I really felt I was surrounded literally by angels, and was fascinated by them. Who are these people that can do this work? Because I don't know if any of you have been into a hospice or see what it's like. It's quite a place. It's quite a place, and